to you today from my porch, if that's what you want to call it. The light makes it look like I have a halo. How's your aura, Nora? If anybody knows what that's from, leave me a comment down there. You'll be on my good list. This is sort of a video response. I don't know. Farmer Brad asked what our hobbies were, and GhostCob Sean talked about his sports collecting stuff. And also, hey, we're talking a few videos ago, 2 or 3 videos maybe, talked about sports memorabilia. Derek, Bob, and Scotty were talking about some of the stuff they have and had, some of the stuff they don't have anymore. It's a shame about that poster. But it made me think of all the stuff I've got. I'm not what you would call a collector of sports memorabilia. I just happen to have a whole lot of it that has amassed over the years, going back starting when I was about 7 years old. On the way to school every morning, my grandmother would stop by this little convenience store. They were called U-Totems. And we would buy some kind of little snack for breakfast. Healthy, of course. Donuts, chips, something like that. And she would also let us buy a pack of baseball cards. I don't remember how much they cost back then, but it couldn't have been much. That was in 1975. And then, so I got quite a few from that year. I got a bunch from 1978. I don't know what happened to 76 and 77. And I got a whole bunch more from 1980. And then I forgot about the hobby, I guess. I turned 13 in 1980, so I'm getting into other stuff. Then quite a few years later, probably, well, I guess it was late 80s, 88 or 89. A friend of mine started getting into collecting, and we found this magazine called Beckett's Magazine that listed card prices and market values and stuff like that. And I found out I had quite a few cards that were worth some money. One of them was a 1975 Mike Schmidt. It was worth about $60 at the time. That got me back into the hobby. I started buying a bunch of cards. I bought baseball and football, very few hockey, but they just didn't exist in my part of the world at that time. But anyway, I bought a whole bunch of cards. And for about probably 4 or 5 years, I was into it pretty heavily. And I would buy packs, I would buy boxes, I would buy complete sets, I would buy individual cards at the card shop, at card shows, etc. And I amassed about 20,000 baseball cards. Some of them worth a pretty good chunk of change. I have sold off most of those expensive ones to finance a trip across the country. I had rookie cards by Randy Johnson, Ricky Henderson, Tony Gwynn, Ken Griffey Jr., a whole bunch of stuff. I've got autographed cards from Hank Aaron, Pete Rose, Dave Justice, Doc Gooden. I've got baseballs from Hank Aaron, Pete Rose, Doc Gooden. Bunch of stuff. But anyway, I sold off most of that, except for the common kind of stuff. Anyway, I've got about 20,000 cards left that are taking up space. Then when I moved to California, all of a sudden I started meeting all these sports people. And got a whole bunch of autographs on stuff. I had a hat from the Pebble Beach program, which is going on right now, as a matter of fact, from 2001, I believe is the year we went. And I got autographed on that hat. Phil Mickelson, Davis Love, Fred Couples, Tom Lehman. Can't remember all of them. There were celebrities there as well. I got Alice Cooper, Kevin Costner, Samuel Jackson. Anyway, I got about 15 autographs on that hat. It's in storage somewhere. Then I got a Sharks jersey with about 15 autographs on it. That was from about 2004, I believe, 2003, 2004. Pretty proud of that. My crowning achievement was it's a poster about, I don't remember the dimensions of it. It's about 2.5 feet wide by 2 feet tall, framed, matted. It's really nice. Of the greatest sports moment in history, or one of the greatest sports photographs in history, and that's of the goal, Bobby Orr, right after he scored the winning goal in the Stanley Cup Championships against St. Louis, flying through the air. Got that one autographed by Bobby Orr, who's the greatest hockey player, in my opinion. I'm a defensive junkie when it comes to hockey. But anyway, all that stuff. Then about 5 years ago, I think it's been, I got on Twitter 5 or 6 years ago. And I would go on there and check stuff and move along. I wasn't really a big Twitter junkie. And one day, Peter Jacobsen, the golfer, I noticed he had a Twitter account, and I followed him on there. Didn't think anything of it. That was probably in like October, late October. About the middle of December, around my birthday, I checked Twitter again, and I had all these messages from Peter Jacobsen, and about 10 of them. Hey, contact me. Do you want this prize? Are you there? Are you hello? You know, this kind of stuff. Apparently, I had won some prize from him. I frantically dug back through my messages and found out that I was his first subscriber. And when he reached, or follower, and when he reached 100 followers, he gave away a couple of things. One to me and one to number 100. And the last message I got said, if we don't hear from you by such and such a date, it was just a couple of days away, we're going to give it away to somebody else. I contacted him, told him sorry I'd been away from Twitter and blah, blah, blah. If it's not too late, I would really like to know if I won this prize. He said, yeah, it's a flag from a charity tournament I did in 1988. It was a tournament called the Fred Meyer Challenge. It was a charity tournament that he did every year for a number of years. And he would pick some of his favorite people, I guess, to play in this tournament. Well, at this particular tournament, the 1988 challenge, he had 20 people. There were 20 folks playing with him. And since I was follower number 1, he gave me the flag from the first hole, and it's autographed by all 20 players. And I believe I've counted right, there are 59 major wins accounted for by the autographs on this flag, and I can't read them all because I know who they are. I've gone over it with the fine-tooth comb, but bug attacked me. There's Johnny Miller, Andy Bean, Raymond Floyd, Peter Jacobson, Fred Couples, Craig Stadler, the Walrus, Gary Player. I'm trying to read them upside down and I can't. Scott Simpson, Arnold Palmer, two of my favorite all-time players right there together, Payne Stewart, and that one's actually not it. That's Jackie Nicklaus. That's Jack Nicklaus's son. Bob Tway. Can't remember that one. Chichi Rodriguez. Can't remember who that one is. There's a Japanese player whose name I can't pronounce. Ishii. Can't remember who that one is. Anyway, that's Jack Nicklaus over here on this side, right there. And can't remember. Fuzzy Zeller, Scott Simpson, Lee Trevino. That's Lee Trevino right there. Paul Azinger, another great player. But anyway, Arnold Palmer, Jack Nicklaus, Gary Player, Fred Couples, Craig Stadler, Payne Stewart. This flag means a lot to me, especially by the way it came about. I almost let it slip away. That would have been a terrible thing. People say, you should have that framed, you should have that framed. And they're right. But I don't. I keep it wrapped up in this bubble wrap, stuck up in one of my closets. Anyway, just thought I would share that with you. Somebody might be interested in it. Somebody might not. But anyway, that's kind of a VR to Sean and the guys over at Hayward talking, dealing with sports memorabilia. I'm going to go back to my old Joe Krantz. Hope you have a good day. Take care of yourselves.